My dear fellow Zrilians, welcome to day 7 of my report on the events in Emergency Station Europa. I had installed a centrifuge, with which I had already converted the alloys that had gotten lost in a botched furnacing attempt. And this was actually my centrifuging of the things that I had shredded prior. Was there actually something left in here? Oh yes, there was. Haha. Finally, I could breathe in my new section. Pure volatiles, just like we needed. I had installed a draft where volatiles are constantly being pumped into the station if the pressure allows it, and are also constantly being pumped out if the pressure allows it. I had installed a counterflow heat exchanger, which made sure that this section would also be cooled, because otherwise it would get very hot in here. Then I had the problem that removing all the oxygen and CO2 that had been in here was going into the liquid tank reserved for N2O. But now I was filtering all of that stuff out slowly into this extra tank made only for gas. Actually, I was only filtering out the nitrogen and CO2. The O2 was going straight back to the moon, because why should I keep that around? It was emptied very slowly. But it was happening. And so what had been over 4 megapascals had descended down to 70 kilopascals. Very convenient pressure. I had also moved the gas canister, because as long as it was a part of this pipe, it would get too much pressure. It could not relieve its pressure, which had been the purpose of this installation, but it was being pumped full and would explode. This way it was safe, but it would consume a lot of electricity. I had also installed a warner regarding the availability of filters.
Malfunction detected. Malfunction detected.
This worked as follows. Here I was loading from the base device, which was the filtration unit, from slot 0 and from slot 1, the quantity. I added them together because the quantity is expressed as a percentage from 0 to 100. And then I divided the addition by 200, which gave me a value from 0 to 1. So 2 full filters would be 1.0. And so if one of the filters would have run out and the other one would be down to 40% or less, I would get a warning. If not, I would just jump over these lines. And these lines just cleared the speaker's sound, then set the warning sound, and then turned the speaker on and gave it enough time to speak. That was all. And here I had my nice multi-diode slide display which expressed how full the volatiles tank was. I actually had added some more volatiles because I had been mining. So things were looking up. Now I would need a greenhouse that I had planned to add over here in this place that you can see through my words, for they are so vivid. And here was the H2O I had installed. In addition to the passive liquid inlet, which had proved to be a bit problematic, a purge valve, which I would have to click for a moment, and then all the problems would be gone, and probably also some water in the air, for that is the nature of removing all the gas pressure. Eventually the liquid itself has to become gaseous, so that there is pressure beyond the so-called Armstrong limit. I mean, how we call it, we all know, but on Earth they call it the Armstrong limit. The same physics. It is weird. They are so different from us, but we're living in the same universe. I had also changed my tablet. As long as I would not be in the other tablet mode, it would not start announcing my distance from the station.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
So finally I had achieved proper survival. But I did not yet have a shower. In 2 months. So it was really due time for that. Since I already had my water tank here for drinking, I would be using that now also for my shower. I was so looking forward to it. My body was itchy. There was still oxygen left, so I did not dare to turn on the oven, for it would set the atmosphere alight. I would have to wait until the draft would have cleared out everything. This would take a while, and so I was considering removing the remaining O2 with the scrubber. I was actually confused. What was the scrubber doing? What was it filling into itself, and why was the amount of N2O increasing? My helmet was closed, so I was not breathing anything out. There was also nothing in the atmosphere. Yet, the amount of N2O was definitely increasing. What was happening? Oh, there was N2O here still. Obviously for me breathing it out. Just in this spot, this device had done all the work necessary to remove it from the space. I am such a polluter. Anyway, it was now time to remove the pollutant. I mean the oxygen, which was the pollutant. I'm sorry. The amount of gases in the room was kind of off-putting, but the draft would slowly take care of that. I could also increase the power of the draft. It was decreasing the volume, the pressure of the room down to 70 kilopascals, up to a maximum of 5 megapascals in the pipe. In other words, it was already doing what it could. I could not increase it further. What I could do, though, I could decrease the target pressure of the active vents that were filling the room with volatiles. But since the process had been moving so smoothly, albeit slowly, I decided just to leave it alone. I had not yet installed a filter warning for the other filters and would have to do that at some point, but not now. I was itching for a shower and also wanted to test the oven. What would it do in this atmosphere of very slight dragon's breath? And also there was still O2 left that I had to wait for it to be removed. I was not yet sure where to install lights. That's why I was still only using the portable light, which I could also carry around with me. Where to put the shower? The decision was undeniable. It had to be here. And where was the inlet for the shower? On the back side. That would have to be an insulated pipe. Or should I actually make a first floor here with the showers in the upstairs region? So the whole planet could witness me take a shower, even though it was just a moon? I was unsure. I decided it would be an interesting endeavor to do so. And that's what I did. I also intended to try a trick to remove the pollutant, or rather the dirt, from the water that would result. I was not sure if this would work. moderately well. What was going on? I was curious. As an experienced astronaut and as engineer, I first, of course, would take a guess. What could be the reason? I checked the atmosphere. Enough CO2, temperature fine, pressure fine. It had to be the light. But the light was automated, so that could also not be the reason. And there were still 7 liters of water left. So I had no knowledge. What was going on? There was illumination stress. Had it been from too much light or from too little? I was unsure. A gut feeling told me to increase the duration of the artificial light. Below 110 degrees, so before the sun would be up, the light would be up. And what goods had I milked from the rest? From the rests. Some iron, some gold, some copper. I did not want to get this out of the centrifuge now, because that would lose me some of these resources. By rounding error, there would basically be residue in the centrifuge. Oh. Right, I still had my experimental welding torch to see what would happen if I would set the air on fire, which we all know what it does. Oh. Right, the ore scanner. How were we doing, Mr. Scrubber? Still removing oxygen? Not much left. Still, I dared not risk it. But it was time to open the helmet. And then to put in some floor for my shower. Oh, I had chosen the windows. That was not the idea. Just happened too often that I would pick the wrong item from the kit. I had to study what walls were available. Wall type 4 was chosen. Oh, interesting. Type 1? At this look? I was curious. I was pretty sure that type 1 did not actually have this look. There must be something wrong with my dictionary kind of thing. So I chose it to see what it actually look like. Oh. I had placed them wrong. Yet another blunder that I would have to accept was entirely mine. After all this time, I should know better. Ah, god damn it. Why did this change? I did not change it, but it changed, so it was changed. I did not change it. It should not have changed by itself. Now I would need a ladder. There was no space here for actual stairs. I remembered I still had some ladders left. The sun would be coming up soon, or was already up, and Jupiter once more was in the way of its glorious beauty. It felt a bit awkward like this, I had to admit. But at least there was some place where the water could go if something would overflow. From whence would the pipe come? I was not clear about that yet. But I would find a way. What a sight to be naked and taking a shower. A foreign moon, as cold as death. I would prefer to have some walls here, I realized. And so the awkwardly functioning ladder would have to be in a different location. Of course, this placement too would be awkward, but less so. I had no walls left, I realized with some horror. How would I make this work? And I would need lamps up here, some lights. It would be right where I'd shower. Yes, that would be the best place.
Hydration critical.
My batteries were actually not looking too good. I would have to put up more wind turbines. But the goal, of course, was to rather put up some solar panels. For that, I would need a building. Or could I just place one in here? For good measure? This did not feel right. There was too much going on here already. Maybe I should actually, I thought, hide some things under the floorboard. And there would have to be a locker. And there was. So I would create some walls, and I would fetch some spray paint. Low battery. I was really drawing too much juice. My station had grown too luxurious. Where would I place the solar panels? Would I create a large hall for this? I was unsure. As for the wastewater, I would have to think what to do with it. My first thought was to use a purge valve. But I was not sure if this would take. I would have to experiment. But first, I just wanted to get rid of my dirt. The first shower in 2 months. I was just too eager. It had to happen. And so, I ripped away my clothes. We with no care in the world, and finally took that overdue shower.
Power low.
Finally, after 2 months, I had cleaned myself. Now I was wondering how much water had I just polluted. 5 liters. I have been very, very conservative. Most of my drinking water was still remaining. Now the idea was to abuse the purge valve, which would remove all the gases from this pipe. I could actually see with the tablet already the clue. I saw the polluted water, but I also saw pure water in the form of gas. All I would have to do is remove the pure water in the form of gas until the polluted water would have followed through. This seemed like it would work. But somehow then I would have to get back that water into the tank. How would I do that? I would have to do some piping. And I was ready to do it. But first a drink. My mood was increasing. Finally, I had removed the crud of 2 months. Actually, it was already almost 3 months. It was day 80. The 80th day. No oxygen remaining. I thought maybe it was time to test how risky it was in my Zrilian fire breath to turn on the oven. It was bearable. The air was only burning mildly. Almost like a normal Zrilian household, I thought. And so, I was now ready to enjoy my food whenever I would so need it. It was not high quality food, but that would come later once I'd have my greenhouse, which I would put here, where I could plant soy oil, necessary for all the good stuff, and then I would package it, and then I would feast for months. So was the dream. But first, electricity.
Oxygen critical.
Yes, it was time. I still had coal reserves, but I would not want to run on coal when sun and wind were my friends on this cold world. Where would I place the solar park? Of course, near primary. That would make the most sense. I had not yet found a proper place or the plants for the organic supplies. And so I decided to extend the back side of the station slightly. First, I would remove the numeric display, which I had used for debugging. It was no longer needed. It would be nice to keep it, but I did not want it. I had other priorities. Oh, I thought, why did the operators fail to remove commented out names from the object tree? Why was this still a thing? First, a foundation would have to be placed. I had one steel frame. That was about 20 steel frames too few. And so, I started the printing machine. And beheld the burning coal. I wondered if a storm was about to come, but the weather station did not say anything, and so I let the coal burner run. It did not feel like a waste. Also, I had achieved the fast drill. I wanted more. The solars, they should have enough space.
Waste tank caution.
Oh no, I thought, said and acted upon. My waste tank once more was filled to the brim. I really needed to expand my station's conveniences. Every room should have an omnipotent a canister holder which would detect what I wanted from it by the tank that I would insert. Not a utopian demand, as we Zrilians know. Maybe I should already start printing the walls. Hopefully I would not forget the printer. Wait, had I not had more walls? Where were those walls? I mean frames, steel frames. Right, of course. Where else would they be? I would uphold the separator wall and would only extend this part of the room. I was thinking about actually adding some door here. A box that would build upon that box. Yes, that would make sense. Always a good idea to keep things a bit separate. Or here, I was not sure. I would just build over the crater of shame. I had not created enough frames. 1, 2, center, 1, 2, 3, definitely not enough. So much would still have to be printed. Good thing that steel had become cheap. I would have to use it though. The steel of mine. Yes, and I want to thank the audience of recent days for their patience with my voice. You know that this cold moon had given me quite the cold, which I have now overcome and have returned to my normal Zrilian voice. I have also heard the hint that my music had been a bit loud, and so I had adapted this slightly. I would need a lot more of these and a lot more of those. Glass sheets. How many? Oh, not much silicone left. I would need more. Quite some more. Oh, I did not have much of this. This perturbed me. I would have to go mining not too far away. In the temporal direction, I meant. The temporal direction, temporal distance of my mining would not be far away. 50. This seemed appropriate. For a solar room needs to have glass walls. The solar room would protect the solar array from the inevitable storms of this cold moon. And then I saw it. I had forgotten the steel sheets. And I was so angry, I removed all the hair that I had. As you can see now, I have no hair. Right? What had changed? Why were the walls suddenly this type? I was so angry with the way this interface worked or whatever. I had heard quite some complaints regarding how our general interface works, but I always deemed them not too justified. This, though, yeah, totally deserves all the critique. If I choose X, then X is chosen. Nothing else is chosen but X. Yet Y had been chosen, and I ask you why? Why? I figured that this would lend itself to about 10,000 watts. And I could expand it, of course. I assumed that by now I had several windows at my disposal. Multiple even. More than one. I was proven correct. Steel sheets were required. I had not taken count. How many would I need? Many. 2 per box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 28, 29, 30, 60. I would need about 70 of these to be sure. Had my welder enough juice for the task at hand? What about my other tools? I wanted to be sure. Thanks to me using only the big batteries by now, I could be sure that I would have replacement. Time to meditate, I thought, and also said in words.
Hydration critical.
If I would keep printing, that would be too many. I did not want to do this. And so, on a whim, I decided to interrupt the production process and start welding. Still no storm in sight, but I was thirsty. Of course, this room would have to be airtight, else it would be thawed out by the storm, damaging my precious energy source. Since I had arrived in the age of luxury, I would create a station battery whose sole purpose it was to keep this room supplied. And all the logic would be in here, so I would need much fewer cables. This was actually a tip that I got from a fellow engineer. Instead of using the logic from an external location. Yes, the batteries were draining, I would have to work on this, and I was busy doing so. But one solar panel I had, though, would not do much damage. I would need more. Could I print more? I doubted it. Did I have some more silicon? Yes, I did. Enough gold, though, to make another solar panel? No. In fact, I had no gold whatsoever. I would have to go mining, and let me tell you, fellow engineers and Zrilians, I hated mining. Very productive, I thought. Too bad glass was so expensive.
Oxygen critical.
Oh, I had forgotten to bring a fresh battery. This, I thought, could just be part of the main room. With interior doors, yes. Or an optional hatch, maybe. I would definitely need more walls. It was a bit ugly that part of the station had iron walls and part had steel walls, but there was nothing meaningful that I could do about this. It would be as asinine to continue with iron walls. And so I did not. Oh. The underground world. The maintenance tunnel. Battery change. Yes, the hall was nearly done. From 0 to something. Not bad, not bad. To fill it with atmosphere, though, would not be so easy. And so I thought, maybe prepare some atmosphere. Three megapascals. And not too much, 1,000 liters, when every world box had 8,000 liters. So this divided by 8 would be the pressure I could unleash upon one box, though I had to fill about 20 or 30, not enough. I would have to produce a bit more gas. Or should I just fill it with oxygen? That would make it very cold. I would have to turn off. Yes, I would have to. But the connection was here on this side. Was it though? I could put the door right here. Yes. Yes, that would make sense. A door would be required. I wanted to make 2, so I did. Storing all these goods so far away from the manufactory, I realized was not the wisest choice. But things were still very chaotic. What could I do? I am but a humble Zrilian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or more even. I counted 7.
Hunger caution.
Here would be the entrance, and this would be shielded. Yes, I would want to open this from the inside. Once I was running the furnace, whose purpose it would be to... Oh, this should be facing the other way around? I'm not sure. Yes, it should be, or shouldn't it be? Yes, it should be. No, it shouldn't be. The furnace whose purpose it was to produce the gas for these new halls. Yet more. I was looking forward to that moment in time when I'd deactivated the cooling system and would use the furnace to produce the gas as well as the heat to populate that new area. All of it dynamic and in real time. This would be an interesting undertaking, and it was only minutes away. Did I have enough glass sheets? Maybe not, I was not sure. Probably not. The ceiling appeared to be entirely closed. And so did the walls appear to be. My last escape hatch. It had been accomplished. Now, though, I would have to be careful as to how to proceed. I would need pressure as well as heat. The furnace, though, would only give me the latter, but not the gas that I wanted from it. It would take a while for it to excrete that. What would I do? I must not reach auto-ignition temperature. I would open this from the inside, and so... Yes. The box had been completed. Time to open the walls.
Hunger critical.
"13 potatoes, all of which were in the process of actually falling apart. I decided to shred them, for biomatter was something I also craved. And now, how would I proceed? First, I would create the pressure and heat in the furnace. This would stream out into the environment, so I would have to disable the exchange. The battery was good, because in such a situation you do not want to suffer the absence of electricity. You don't. Then I would pump that into the station, but it would come out very slowly, for the furnace is a reluctant beast. And then I would have to open this window, and would have to dismantle it. The air exchange would cool down this part of the station extremely. I thought, basically the main problem that I had was temperature. From this side the cold, from this side the heat, until the gas would come. In other words, I had no problem at all. Except for the cooling system, which I hereby disabled. This did not work. I had just shed into on my table, basically. I was disappointed with myself once more.
Hydration critical.
Even further,
Suit damage.
something that I had been told can no longer occur had just occurred again. this would be a thorough load. And so the furnace ascended and started screaming at the room. The temperature quickly rose, but so did my activity. Already been burnt, I did not want to waste the fuel itself. Apparently it had been, and so it was time to harvest the heat. Very cold, very, very cold. But soon no more. But I wanted to be able to control the temperature, and so I installed a door. For which I just realized I did not have the resources. "50 degrees, I thought. Way more than I had anticipated. But it was only the slow spread of thermal energy that I was observing. 95 degrees, very, very, very hot. I was trying to find the sweet spot where I would feel okay. What was happening? Something harmless, I suppose, but rather chose to check. Liquefied
Waste tank caution.
O2.
Waste tank critical.
The waste tank was giving me some bother, but I had emergency measures in place. Was there still an open window somewhere here? The pressure, 86 kilopascals, was saying no, this is not the case. Now it was time to re-implement the cooling solution, which would immediately kick in and strongly cool down the room. I wondered, was the pressure so high that the door would open to relieve some of it? Yes, this was the case. Now it was time to turn off the machine. My waste tank was filling rapidly, but I had retreated to a place where my suit would not longer need to do this. The temperature had balanced out to 21 degrees in the far reaches, but close in the station it was still super hot. But the counterflow heat exchanger was doing its magic,
Outflow.
and so I did not fear. I would have to feast though, and right soon.
Power low.
It had worked. 40 degrees. Everything was fine. No pipes were singing, so I could risk opening the door. I assumed this would reinvigorate the alarm, but it did not. Time to feast. What was the atmospheric composition after all this time? 100% volatiles, no trace of oxygen left. Though the scrubber was still running and had enough battery to keep going for a while.
Hunger caution.
The automatic oven would take so much of my cooking burden away from me. I was happy to have found a new friend. In this loneliest of places. Temperature alright, pressure alright. How was my liquid tank doing? Still some CO2 in there, but basically no more oxygen. 1 megapascal here, almost nothing there. I decided to turn off some devices which would save me some electricity. The purge valve, which was trying to get all the gas from that tank. This might even lead to some interesting observations. And then of course the filtration unit on the other end of this system. Well, the fact that it was getting hotter told me that my current waste tank was indeed being emptied into the gas gathering tank. So all the wasted volatiles, whose purpose had only been to cool down my suit, were now going into the tank, were heating up the room, but the room did not bother, for it was accompanied by the impenetrable shield of the counterflow heat exchanger. Everything was alright. Time to get rid of some devices and things. Why had I made a second door? Yes, I remembered. Now it was time to install it, and also I would have to bring the solar panel. To make meaningful use of it, I would have to print another IC10 and a station battery and other things. I chose to start with a battery. I would need a lot of gold for this. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. Still, a lot of gold I did not have. So the housing then. I was of the opinion that there was nothing burnable left in the air. I guess I was mistaken. What had been the culprit? Volatiles? Oh. Gold. I would have to go mining before I could start using my solar panel system. The batteries were not too full, but bearable. And another realization. This room would slowly heat up in the sun if I would install a cooling solution. Probably not another counterflow instance. Why would I? First, a door. And then a solar panel in some arbitrary corner. Not the dual one. I would only need the one with the one port that would allow me to connect to it with energy and logic. Logic in, energy out. Which directions would the cables go? I was unsure. Along the room, yes. That would make sense. And then some glass. And now it was producing 65 watts. Not nothing, I thought. Yet useless to me. I would have to install infrastructure first. The drinking fountain definitely belonged in my nice volatiles area, but I put it on the to-do list instead. Then I'd check my situation. Everything had been recharged and was ready. This was also ready. What if I'd need my jetpack, I thought. 6 megapascals should take me places, literally. What about the CO2 ratio in this part of the station? 12%. Not very high. 78%. 78 kilopascals, the temperature was alright. I chose to run the machine once more. Wanted more pressure. It was slowly increasing. Increasing nitrogen and increasing CO2. It was taking. Pressure 80.1, 80.6, 81. It was spreading out rather evenly. I did not have to fear that the emergency overpressurization door would steer the nice CO2 from me. And then I would have to go mining once more. With a beacon, of course. %, CO2. The furnace is really one of the most central pieces of equipment in Zrilian's space station. Even looks spacey. It looks like Kevin, basically. Enough of this. I wanted to go mining. I needed gold, gold, gold. I needed gold and I needed gold. First though, I would have to make sure that my filtration unit would keep doing what it was supposed to do. The fire, it was going every place. Was even touching my solar panel. No apparent damage, but I would have to be a bit careful. I decided to let it run without the pollutant filter, or the fire hazard was more important to be removed. And then once more, it was time.
2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2.
I did not require this beacon for now, and so I just chose to mine. Since during the night I could not see any way where the gold would be, I decided to switch to mining backpack. No need to fly. Not wrong to fill up my volatile resources, and nickel would become invaluable at some point once I would have the advanced furnace, many of whose recipes would rely on nickel. Again, I relished in the speed of my heavy mining drill, remembering the slow crawl and creep of my first drill. It had been horrific, but now I was free, and all I had to do was push the button and take the resources from the world.
Waste tank caution.
Not again, I thought, and decided to just unleash my poisonous fumes. I decided to turn on my tablet because if there would be a storm, I would like to know. It would warn me this had been implemented.
2, 3. 3, 3. 3, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3.
I reminded myself that the numbers read to me had to be thought to be from the left to the right.
3, 3.
The least significant information first, and then the most significant information.
2, 3.
The first information that was read to me was the small changes.
2, 3.
And the last information read to me would be the distance, the large distance overall.
2, 3.
But where was the gold?
2, 3.
I really needed those spectacles that would allow me to see resources in the soil.
2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 3, 3. 4, 3. 5, 3.
This told me that I was moving away from the station, and I verified this, and it was true. Oh.
5, 3.
How full was the battery of the tablet? 98. No reason to think about
5,
it.
3. 3. 1, 4. 1, 4. 1, 4.
No gold.
3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4.
Oh, accidentally I had turned it off again. Reflex action.
3, 4.
I needed gold. Where was the gold?
3, 4.
No.
1, 4. 5, 3. 5, 3. 1.
I realized that the speaker was missing an idle flag which would tell me when its sample had been played so the next sample could be played. Or was I interpreting this wrong? I was not sure.
4. 5, 3. 5, 3. 5, 3. 5, 3. 5, 3.
Hydration critical.
5, 3.
Once more, I had not brought anything to feast on, but would I here, out here in the cold? I would not.
5, 3.
I was still craving the potential of an emergency tent for such situations.
5, 3.
But I would have to return. There was no other way today.
5, 3. 5,
No gold.
3.
Absolutely no gold. Where was the gold? I needed so much of it.
5, 3.
And I had absolutely none.
5, 3.
And I was actually probably standing right above it. It was impossible for me to know.
5, 3.
Because I had the wrong glasses on my face.
1, 4.
Soon the sun would be out. Silicon, most welcome, most welcome.
2, 4.
Second only to gold.
2, 4.
Power low.
2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. Storm incoming.
Uh-oh.
1, 4. Storm incoming. 1, 4. Storm incoming. 1, 4. Storm incoming. 1, 4. Storm incoming.
No gold. I needed gold. Nowhere around it.
1, 4. Storm incoming.
I would have plenty of time before the storm would hit. But gold, I needed gold.
1, 4.
At
Storm
least-
incoming.
At least the storm would make sure that I would have enough energy in my station.
1, 4. Storm incoming. 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 5, 3. Storm incoming. 5, 3. Storm incoming. 5, 3. Storm incoming.
Any gold somewhere to be found, I wondered.
1, 4. Storm incoming.
No glint of luscious,
1,
valuable
4.
metal
Storm incoming.
anywhere to be seen. Yes, there was some gold. I would not go home without any.
3, 4. Storm incoming. 5, 4. Storm incoming. 5, 4. Storm incoming. 5, 4. Storm incoming.
Now it was time to return home because of the storm.
1-5 storm incoming.
I had
1-5 storm incoming.
I had not found enough gold. Could I find some more, maybe, if I were really quick?
1-5 storm incoming.
Five megapascals left on my
5-4
jetpack.
storm incoming. One 5 storm incoming.
Time to go back, I thought.
Three 4 storm incoming. 5-3 storm incoming. 3-3 storm incoming. 2-3 storm incoming. 3-3 storm incoming. 3-3 storm incoming. 1-3 storm incoming.
I saw something glinting
Outflow.
in the
5-2
distance.
storm incoming.
I had to take it.
4-2 storm incoming.
I did not know what it was, but I suspected gold,
3-2 storm incoming.
and there it was.
4-2 storm incoming. 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 4-2 storm incoming.
I would have to harvest all of it. I would not find this
5-2
place
storm incoming.
again, and I had not known how rare gold really is on this moon.
5-2 storm incoming. 5-2 storm incoming.
Health be damned, I had to keep going.
4-2 storm incoming.
Hunger caution.
5-2 storm incoming. 4-2 storm incoming. 4-2 storm incoming.
Why would I find this gold vein, this rich gold vein,
4-2 storm incoming.
just before the storm? 150 degrees.
4-2 storm incoming. 4-2 storm incoming. 4-2 storm incoming. 5-2 storm incoming. 5-2 storm incoming. 4-2 storm incoming.
All the gold had been harvested.
4-2 storm incoming.
Really due time that I went home.
4-2 storm incoming.
so I did.
4-2, storm, incoming. 3-2, storm, incoming. 1-2,
Silver.
5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5.
Power critical.
5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 4. 4. 4. 4. 3. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. Malfunction detected. Malfunction detected.
Okay.
Malfunction detected.
New filters
Malfunction detected.
required. And now my station was out of power. Or wasn't it? Yes. I had just witnessed the station run out of power, and all I was still seeing were the emergency batteries. And so, just like Captain Nemo in that story, 20,000 miles under the sea, I was now waiting for a natural event to lift up my ship. The light would give out very soon. I was not even sure what it was running on at this point. Where was the energy coming from? Yes, it must have been the wind turbines, of course, that were still turning. Emergency energy. Not enough to run everything, and so the transformer was not supplying the rest entirely. I should have feasted while I was over there, I thought. Had I not made some volatiles filters to take with me? Apparently I had not. How long was I still until the storm? I had not installed a countdown. But it could only be moments. If not seconds. Watts. To be charged, 14.3 megawatts, now 14.2, now 14.1. As long as the storm would last, and this would not be very long, the station would be well supplied. And I planned on wasting some of that immediately. Pig-headed as I was, I chose to smelt the gold, not in the proper furnace, but in the expensive one when it comes to electricity. Now for the volatiles filters that had run out. And then I would have to take care of my needs.
Health critical.
I would really need some better lighting situation in here.
Hunger critical. Health low.
Malfunction detected. Malfunction detected. Malfunction detected. Malfunction detected.
I was about to curse the day, for I had accidentally dropped some volatiles, and then I remembered where I was. Huh. Still a lot more to fill, if I wanted some proper reserves. What value had I actually set as the maximum? 60 megapascals would not be wise, obviously, but 60 is exactly what I had set. 50 should be the very limit. Yeah, now it looked a bit fuller than before. The storm was over. How much had the batteries been charged? Not much. Gold. Station battery is all I could think. This cable network was running on about 800 watts constantly. Or let's say 900. Because from time to time there was a sudden spike. I wondered where this was coming from. It must be the arc furnace if it is still busy, I thought. Was it still busy? Yes, that was the explanation. Whenever I would take the next bit from the ore that I had harvested, that would cost some significant load. What cable network logic would I use for this? I was not sure. Oh, it was full. Nothing could be done. "24 degrees. And then the big floodlight in the sky piped up again. Wasn't sure whether it wanted to shine or not. Decided it wanted. I knew the game. Obviously the sun was a primitive beast, not yet having grown accustomed to its own habits. Here the electricity would flow. And now I realized my blunder, or did I? No, this would work. The electricity would come out here and would go into the battery. Not too close to the wall. I wanted to legitimately turn it on and off. Damn, I thought. I knew something was amiss. I'd forgotten my sheets. I wanted to hear once more the sheet music of welding. And so I did. I didn't. Sheet! Maybe I should take care of all my batteries while I'm at it, I thought. Oh. Oh, I thought that would... Oh, yeah, right, I would be able to pass here, and that might actually be valuable. I thought to leave it like this, just to mix things up a bit. On the output side, but no, the first order of business would be the cables. Since I was expecting several thousand watts, maybe I would have to use heavy cables, but I chose to use thin ones for now. Maybe a mistake. The solar panel was beginning to take effect. And then I realized I would have to use heavy cables, for this would be the energy source not for the battery, but for a whole load of batteries, and these had to hang from heavy cables, and so would everything in here have to do. I decided to wait with that until the sun would be gone to harvest at least a little bit of its precious light. Maybe I thought it was time for a laptop. I did not want to put up a computer in every little room. And so I made one. And then a large battery, I thought. Or maybe two, as per usual. A master and an apprentice. Always two there are. A daylight sensor, too, would be helpful for this immediate endeavor, I realized. I had none in reserve, and so I set out to create one. And an IC programming motherboard. That would be very much
Waste tank caution.
appreciated. Somehow, maybe I should have to do something about my rate of perception. It seemed to be a bit burdened. The time had come. I would now be able to control the solar panel's direction. And so I did. solar panel did not move. Had I made a mistake? Maybe. But no. The problem was the electricity. There was not enough power for what I wanted to do. But there had been power seconds earlier. What could I do? A temporary solution, of course. Well, now that the sun was gone, I chose to also change out the cables. And wondered if I had enough. Yes. This had not actually worked. I was surprised. What had been the mistake? What had been the mistake? The battery was empty. The other battery was full. So the transfer of energy had worked. I believe the problem was that the speed at which a battery can suck power is infinite. And so I had just used more than 100 kilowatts. So the reaction was normal, natural, albeit undesired. I chose to create more heavy cables. Never can have too many of those.
Hydration critical.
And then I would have to repair. It had been the power. There had not been enough power to run that device. I was confused. Had I accidentally placed the daylight sensor in the exactly right location for the solar panel to operate? The sun would come out and I would see. This reminded me of a solution that another engineer had recently mentioned. The solution to preemptively move the solar panels into the direction where the sun would rise once it was no longer there. This would mean that once the morning would come, but the batteries may be empty, the sun would start it all up again. Otherwise, I would have to wait till the evening and lose an entire day of solar. And also, this would mean that then the solar panels would adjust slightly, the chip would run the battery dry, and then everything would be dead again. Overall, a very good idea, I thought. I would have to do something like that. But now, I thought it was time, since I still had some gold left, to make some more solar panels. Yes. And then I would have to find a way to connect the old world with the new one. This would take a shit ton of cables, I thought. And yes, I used the word shit that the humans use. Humans are weird. Well, fuck 'em. This powerful cable was the output side of the batteries, but I would have to use the input side here. Not the most beautiful design, I thought. But oh well, the job had to be done. Yes, heavy cables would be needed. More mining would also be needed, but not today. This will be one of my last actions before I would retreat again into my chambers to grace you once more, later with more of my story. Really?
Waste tank caution.
Really? Obviously, this panel would have to be rotated differently than it would be currently rotated. Placing them too close together was also not the best choice, I realized. They would cast a shadow upon each other, but how much would they limit each other, really? Would it not be prudent to harvest every little ounce of sun that I could get? But I chose to go with the usual checkerboard approach.
Waste tank critical.
Praised be the smart canister, for it can hold a Zrilian's dragon breath. But where was the sun, really? Was it not behind Jupiter? Oh yes, it was behind Jupiter. The overall rotation of my planets was so very wrong. And thus...
Health low.
Not ideal. What was the reason? Was it really a 90 degrees situation that was missing? Interesting, I thought, and made happen. I did not understand. How could my calculations be so wrong? I mean, there could only be 90 degree steps, but apparently this was not the case. First order of business would be to add something to the vertical. I was already missing an actual computer in this place. Why were my coordinates this
Hunger caution.
far off? I did not understand. How could they be this wrong? This did not make sense. Absolutely not. What was the reason? I'd never experienced this before. How could this be so wrong? The only way to place the daylight sensor was in 90 degree steps in any direction. Therefore, its placement being wrong could also just be corrected by adding 90 degree steps, or 180 or 270 respectively. But this was not the case. Were the panels at least turning towards the sun? Something was wrong. I chose to not hesitate and just place another computer. If I would find the electricity to do so, I thought. Unexpected. But since this very problem was in the process of being solved, I actually took delight in the urgency. It would once again be a race and an observation as to the slow correction of the situation. Maybe I thought I should first take care of my needs. Maybe I should take care that I had enough potatoes left that I could bake. I also thought. One gold was missing. One. Only one, and it was one. But I gave it 20. They were not turning with the sun. Not at all. I was confused. Had I confused vertical and horizontal? No, the problem was they were not moving at all. Had I not done a main loop? Yes, I had, but I could not fathom. And then I saw it. The blunder of blunders. Of course, a stupid mistake. How was the daylight sensor supposed to function if it did not give its information to the chip at all? No wonder it had looked like 90 degrees when I added 90 degrees. It was only 0 plus 90 and thus 90 degrees. But now I could behold my blunders from a different perspective. But I would not continue with this. First thing would have to be the computer. Too bad. Exactly swapped. Okay then. Why was the computer's display empty? Oh, I had started the program this far down. I hadn't even realized. So, obviously, the orientation was way off. I stopped adding so much to the horizontal. Yes, way more convenient.
Waste tank caution.
Not again, I thought. And the vertical was also wrong, but I could already see if I add 90 to the vertical, this would then point below the horizon, and that is indeed where the sun was. So, adding to the vertical, 90. Yes, this should be the correct setup. A cable analyzer would not be a bad thing to have here, to see what's coming in and to see the potential to be stored here. Then I realized this would make sense. Once the heavy cable would be connected here, I would see the entire potential of the station, not just of this battery. Time to make more heavy cables, I thought. And to make them useful.
Waste tank critical. Temperature low. Temperature critical. Temperature low. More potatoes. What would happen to the air? I wanted to analyze. The perfect fuel mix, huh? Harmless. Wonderful. Yes, all the gold had now been turned into resources. Time to connect this new energy supply to the rest of my station. Jupiter agreed with the alignment
of my solar panels. That's where the sun was indeed. The solar panels couldn't go down further. The vertical would be something there or so. I was not sure. Now this battery would be charged, and also the station batteries in primary. Now this chip would be hanging entirely from this one battery, so I wasn't yet sure if this whole thing would be working out. I will need a way to jumpstart this situation, and so I just left the area power controller in place. It would possibly come in handy. I wondered, there was the big station battery, and there would be a small battery. Which battery would have priority regarding the power supply? In my situation, it would be ideal if the battery that I was now about to place would not have priority. So, and apparently it didn't. Apparently the main energy was coming from the station battery, so now I had a reserve power supply. Not necessary, I thought, but this gave me a good feeling. I knew this would sustain the device for a while. I didn't know how much energy the station battery was still holding. Nothing to see, but of course the sun would be on the other side of Jupiter. Jupiter was actually visible here. It was the blackness. Around it, stars, but itself was completely black. I could see where the sun is from one of Jupiter's other moons. The solar panels were eagerly awaiting the arrival of the sun. If I would now place a cable, what's the word? A cable meter here, this would probably not tell me much about the solar panels, for they were supplying power to the exact network that the wind turbines were also giving their power into. Well, it wasn't much, but I had achieved. Now my station was currently being supplied with 500 watts. What I was seeing here was indeed the wind. I thought, could I possibly separate the solar panels out? Well, the idea here was to have a steady power supply for this chip, and the only way then to give the energy of the solar panels to this battery, but ultimately also somehow to the station. I could actually add a transformer here, but that would consume power. A transformer that would make sure that these power networks would be separate. And then I would be able to measure the solar panels themselves. The sun was up, but it was behind Jupiter. Should I install a transformer, I wondered. Yes. First, I would have to consult the Stationpedia, though. 5,000 watts. Not sufficient for the purposes. Medium, then? 25,000 watts. This seemed correct. Oh my god, I thought I would need gold for this. I did not have any. None, and none. Or didn't I? Yes.
Power critical.
Copper. Copper, old friend, you also want to be used here? You whore. I would have to recable this, though. And right now, I wanted to not miss the events in the sky and on the ground, for they were now married. Too late, the sun was out. Curses! At least the energy that the batteries and that the solar panels were now outputting was not lost. I had a station battery in place. Would all be stored.
Waste tank caution.
Not again! Oh, this will take a while. Oh, I placed a small one. God damn it! Of course, it was a kit once more. Of course it was. Oh, I needed a second transformer to make one transformer. Another blunder, but again, the energy was not lost. The battery was charging. Beautiful. 200 watts here. 200 here. Yes. Overall, the current station income, no. 840 from the solar panels. 1,000 watts. Not bad. Could I make another transformer, or was I, as they say, out of luck?
Waste tank critical.
Oh, wait. I only needed one. Would 2 be enough? I was curious.
No, it was not. I would need once more gold that I didn't have, but was able to find. If only I could remember. Ah, there. Yes, this was enough. $25,000 watts if need be. Now the station was benefiting from the electricity output, and still I could see exactly what the solar panels were producing. Of course, I was now also wasting a bit of electricity, but I thought a few more solar panels after a few more mining runs that would hopefully find the remaining gold of this little moon, I would have enough electricity. And so, folks, that's all for today. I will see you tomorrow, maybe, or whenever that will be. It is not yet clear. The schedule of this conference hall is a bit unclear. We should really talk about this. And, then I would definitely have to deal with the cleaning of the water. So, see you then and have a good life until then. If not, have a bad one, but I would prefer for you to have a good one.